Have you ever pondered what the future of food might look like? Or how we might reconcile our love for meat with the undeniable environmental cost of traditional farming? Welcome to a world where science fiction morphs into reality, where we can have our steak and eat it too, all without the environmental guilt. This is the world of lab-grown meat.
Also known as cultured meat, lab-grown meat is not a plant-based substitute or a highly processed meat alternative. Rather, it's real succulent meat, grown from animal cells in a lab. The process is akin to how we might grow plants from seeds. Scientists start with a small sample of animal cells, typically obtained painlessly from a living animal. These cells, which have the capacity to regenerate and multiply, are placed in a culture medium that mimics the animal's body environment, providing the nutrients, hormones, and growth factors the cells need to grow. Over time, these cells multiply and form muscle tissue, which is essentially meat.
This fascinating technology is not as new as you might think. The concept of lab-grown meat has been around for decades, but it wasn't until 2013 that the first lab-grown burger, costing a whopping $250,000, was unveiled to the world. Since then, the field has evolved rapidly, with costs plummeting and taste and texture improving. Today, lab-grown meat is on the brink of becoming commercially viable. But why bother growing meat in a lab when we can raise livestock? The answer lies in the environmental impact. Traditional livestock farming is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, and water pollution. It's also incredibly resource-intensive, requiring vast amounts of land, water, and food. Lab-grown meat, on the other hand, could slash these environmental costs. According to some estimates, cultured meat could reduce the land use by more than 90%, greenhouse gas emissions by up to 96%, and water use by up to 92% compared to traditional farming. Lab-grown meat also presents an ethical solution to animal slaughter and could potentially reduce the risk of zoonotic diseases like Salmonella and E. coli, which are often associated with conventionally farmed meat. But it's not without its challenges. There are questions about taste, cost, and consumer acceptance. Can lab-grown meat truly replicate the taste and texture of traditional meat? Will it be affordable for the average consumer? And will people accept eating meat grown in a lab? Yet, as we hurtle into the future, these challenges are being addressed. The taste and texture are improving, the costs are decreasing, and surveys suggest that consumer acceptance is on the rise, particularly among younger generations. So what does this mean for the future of food? Lab-grown meat has the potential to revolutionize the food industry, making meat production more sustainable, ethical, and environmentally friendly. It could turn our current food system on its head, making the seemingly impossible possible, enjoying our favorite meat dishes without the environmental guilt. And that in itself is food for thought.